Hello and welcome to the Deep Sea Haven. It's me, Rihanna, and today we're doing a budget build of The Sims 3, the base game only, no expansions. I prefer The Sims 3 over The Sims 4, so, my budget build will probably be more on The Sims 3, but I mean, if people really want it, I can do Sims 4. They don't necessarily all have to be budget builds. I'm thinking about doing one that's no budget at all, whatever I want. As you'll see, I kind of like to make my houses even amount of spaces because I like to have the double doors. You can do it with an odd amount because they do have that triple door that I tried to use because it's been a little while since I played The Sims 3 because it was college, so I forgot that one was the 3. As soon as I picked it up, I was like, I think this is the 3 one though. So right now, I'm using the flooring. There's a basic flooring that they have in The Sims 3 that's $0. It costs literally nothing. And it's probably one of the most amazing things that they actually have. Because it's beautiful. Wood flooring, I'm one of those people who love wood flooring throughout my whole house. So whenever I'm gonna do any sort of budget build, that's immediately what I go for. And when I mean budget build, I have one sim that I created in her own household by herself. And you get a certain amount of money. And I bought the cheapest plot of land that I could, which was $1,500. Right now I'm trying to make the outside look really nice, because I feel like the outside should really kind of be really nice. And, when it comes to, beds and your oven and stuff like that, it's gonna be harder to really gauge how much that's gonna be. And yeah, it's nice to have the best things you can have, but in my personal opinion, when you first start the game, that's not going to be something that's going to be realistic. So that's not something I personally worry about. I realized I couldn't have a nice, even amount of doors, so I went to put an even amount of windows, so I went to put a door through there. And see, this is the best part about Sims 3, the creative style. This is why Sims 3 is better than Sims 4 in my personal opinion. It makes making budget builds so much easier as well. You can pick whatever styles you want. I'll go through and you'll see that I utilize this a lot. And you can make whatever you want your style. This makes building anything in The Sims 3 way easier than The Sims 4, and it's one of, my favorite parts about The Sims 3. You'll see that there's going to be things that I'm going to change and, delete, stuff like that. Which is, I decided to keep that stuff in because I feel like, a lot of the time you'll see people when they make their builds, it seems like they're doing everything perfectly, they have it planned out. That's not how I build, to be honest, and that's not how I'm sure most of you build. You kind of just go in and then you make a decision. I came into this without thinking anything. I did try to do this before, but I was having issues with my laptop, so what I did was I had to go back through. See, this is how I make all of my wallpapers or paints or whatever you want to call them. Right now I decided that in this little corner here I was going to have the kitchen. And you'll see that I'm going to be going through and, changing up stuff. I'll get a feel for the colors I like and then I'll decide from there. Like I said, when you're actually doing a build, things are not going to go as smoothly as a lot of people like to make it seem like in their videos. So I'm really showing you all that process right now. Blue is probably my favorite color, so I like to separate the rooms based on wallpapers or, whatever tile, I guess, in this case, because I like to have the wood floor. The wood floor really makes it look more spacious, but I do want separation between the rooms without, creating any obstacles. And as you can see, this is definitely going to be a smaller house, just because that's kind of what you can afford. And if you want to have better stuff for your Sims, then you need to have more money. A big thing I like to try to save for is having the best bed you can have, because sleep is so important, especially when you just start the game. And I don't do mods or anything, I try to play it just, base. So yeah, I love the geometric patterns. They're probably my favorite, honestly, about all of them. Yeah, I decided here that I was going to get rid of the door and I was going to kind of keep it like a half open, half closed area, so she can have her privacy of her room, but it's still a little bit more spacious that way. I was gonna have, initially I thought about just leaving her room out in the open, but I felt like that, wasn't indicative of any privacy or anything, having guests over or anything like that. So I was kind of going through here, I accidentally saw that in the plastics and rubbers when I went to go get something else, and I liked it. It looked galaxy-y. So you're going to see me try to work around with this and try to get it, better. I'm going to throw a light in there so I can see because it's a little dark in the bathroom. And I don't know, I like to experiment a little bit and with the colors, with the wallpapers. I like to try new things. And I definitely felt like in this build I tried a little bit more things. Right now what I'm trying to do is kind of make a galaxy effect on the bottom. I thought that would be cool. I couldn't really get what I wanted out of it. So you're going to see I'm going to kind of dump that idea in a little bit. But I do get something that, I like. I wouldn't say, I was the happiest with it overall, but I did enjoy what I created. But that's what, this is all about. It's all about experimenting, trying new things. Everything is always changing, at least for me when I do a build. When I'm doing a build, things constantly are changing for me. I decided to make this a little darker so you can see it, and then it looks more like stars. I don't know, I really liked that. I thought it was pretty. The tile part at the bottom is what's going to really give me a hard time, to be honest. See, I'm still trying to do the galaxy thing, but it's not really executing the way that I'd want. Honestly, if this was more of a 3 or 4 color one, I probably could have did it a lot better. But overall, I end up just dumping the idea because it's a lot more work than I thought it was going to be, and it's just not quite worth it in the long run, in my personal opinion. I believe I end up dumping, I go right to woods because woods are just easier when it comes to this. I don't like having too many patterns. That's never been the type of person I like. I like one pattern and then more of a plain one, so I was trying to go out my comfort zone, and it didn't personally work out for me. It was just fine. I mean, I'm not going to cry a river over it. So yeah, the bathroom's a little small right now. You'll see that that's not going to really work out, especially I wanted to use a tub. Just because I thought a tub would be more stylistic. Usually I go for the showers, just because I believe showers take a shorter amount of time. Whether that's in my head or in reality, I'm not too sure. But I wanted to go with a tub for this one. That's what I just decided for this time. Now we're going to work on her bedroom. I'm going to steal that wallpaper and just edit it in this creative style. Yeah, budget builds are much easier in The Sims 3 just because of the creative style, which is something that I was very disappointed about with The Sims 4. So, it's not my favorite game for plenty of reasons, but that's definitely one. I don't feel like I can get as creative. I know some people feel like the complete opposite of that, and don't mind my laptop completely freaking out. Trying to run OBS and Sims 3 at the same time is not always the smartest idea. The Sims 3 is quite demanding when it comes to its graphics and stuff. It was beyond its time, and it's a little bit buggy at the same time. It's not quite perfect. I decided that I really liked this. You'll find I'm a sucker for blues, blue grays. You'll find a lot of those in my styles. Just because blue is my favorite color, and I have a weakness for it. And then, now we're going to go work on the outside. Like I said, I do all my building first, and then I put stuff in. Just because, like I said, I like it to look nice, and honestly, I'm going for cheaper stuff. The siding could have been a little bit cheaper, to be honest. I could have went cheaper with the siding. I could have edited a different siding, but I don't know. The green was calling to me. This weird, greeny gray color was really calling to me, so I just went with it. And honestly, if you're really doing a budget build hardcore, you're trying to get everything you can, the best you can inside the house, that's probably not going to be what you go for, personally. That's probably not what's going to make or break it for you. But sometimes I'm a little bit different. See, what sucks about the no expansions is there's a lot less stuff you'll find. And now, a lot less stuff is okay, especially when it comes for building. I mean, there's not going to be quite stylistically what you want when it comes to doors and stuff like that. But, main thing is going to be, it's going to suck in terms of putting stuff inside, because there's beds that aren't too bad. I believe there is a bed that is, sleep 8, comfort 6, or something like that. Or atmosphere 6, I believe, which is actually not that quite bad, especially for when you're just starting out the game. You do not want to use this bed that I'm placing down right now. This bed I'm placing right now, I'm getting placers, kind of trying to get a feel of what I want to put in the house, what I need in the house before I get started, really. Yeah, don't buy this bed, don't stick with this bed. This bed Your Sims will need to sleep for so long. Not to mention, it's very uncomfortable, and they will not like it very much. You want to try, beds are the most important thing. I will say that, period, always. Beds are the most important thing. Them needing to have the least amount of sleep as possible is very important. I always stick with this counter. Counters aren't something that really affects your sim stats. It affects atmosphere and stuff like that, but honestly, beyond that, they don't really do crazy amount, so that's why I always just, do whatever counters I want. You'll see him switching stuff around because I realized my build was not the smartest idea. There we go. These counters, yeah, you'll see I'm going to stick with them, and I'm just going to edit them and make them more stylistically what I want. You're going to find that I ended up not going with a table. I thought about having a table, but I figured she can just sit in her chair and eat there. I'm going to start working on the bathroom. Again, I thought about doing the shower, but I don't know, the tub was really calling to me. This tub's is pretty cheap. It's not the cutest, but just stylistically, I liked it. Now, I theoretically could have fit, I'm sure, everything in the bathroom as I wanted, but I was a little worried about, pathing for the sim, and that was something I didn't really feel like going through and testing. I never make my houses too cramped. There's no need for testing most of the time, because it's going to be fine. So I moved the wall forward. For some reason, I was afraid it moved the door, so I was just double checking that it didn't move the door. And I realized a 3x3 is probably my preference for a bathroom, just because then you can fit the tub if you want. I usually have the shower tub, so you can pick either one if you want. But this time I went with just the tub. Like I said, stylistically, it was just calling out to me, so I went with that. Again, the toilet isn't a big deal. It's not something that really matters personally, because their bladder, it's always bladder 10 no matter what. It will break a lot more easily, I will say that. So look out for that when you buy your toilet. The cheaper something is, the more likely it is to break, so that's another thing that you gotta worry about. Now that I have all my placers in place, I notice I have quite a bit of money. But I figure what I'm going to do first is get my counters all nice like I want them, and then we can worry about money from there. So I'm in build to style, and I'm trying to figure out what I want for the countertop. I decided I was going to try something new. I usually go for a basic white on top counter, and then the bottom is a dark, it's always a dark wood. I love my dark woods. What sucks though is they definitely make the house look darker, so you have to worry about lighting a little bit more. But I honestly wasn't having that many issues. I was definitely trying new things that went outside my comfort zone for no reason. It wasn't because I was like, oh, I'm recording this video. It was more like I just felt like trying something new, because I hadn't decided that if I was actually going to keep the video until I finished it, because I was pretty happy with what I came up with. Stylistically, it was just, I enjoyed what I made. It was honestly a lot of fun making. Now the build, overall took me about an hour. I sped it up for you guys, because obviously I made a lot of changes and stuff like that, and that's going to take forever. Now, a lot of people, when they do their builds in The Sims, they don't actually keep their stuff. They don't actually make a house out of it. Some of them put them on the uploads and stuff, but, they don't really keep the house, so they don't worry too much about the placements and stuff like that, whereas that's definitely something I worry more about, making sure I have the best bed I can have, etc., so on and so forth. I really feel like, especially if you're going to do a budget build, you should worry about what's best for the sim on that budget build. And what I'm doing right now is I'm just going to make all of this wood so that it fits in a little bit better. It doesn't look the greatest, but at the same time, I preferred it over the gray, so that's what I went with. And now this is when I'm going to really start replacing things. At first I did this, and then I saw my budget, how much it went down, so I changed my mind, and I went immediately for changing the style of this chair, because I knew I was just going to keep it. I liked the pattern just looked beautiful on the chair. I really did not expect it to look that good when I tried it. I usually try couple different styles, but I really liked the chair. I liked the little bit of purple there. Immediately went for the bed. That's the best bed they have. I was checking the other ones. For the price, it's very expensive, but honestly, the +3 in the top right and the 10 sleep, it's something you're really going to want overall. Now, for the room, to be honest, what is going to be your preference for a bedroom is definitely going to be at least 4 across, so that you can have 2 bedside tables, and preferably 2 lamps on the tables, just for brightness sake. Because if you see right now, the lamp is hanging over the bed. I do get rid of that, just because stylistically it just doesn't look that good in my personal opinion. But, that's personally why I believe that you're going to want to have at least 4 across, but it was a budget build, and, honestly, the sim probably can't get in like this, so it's probably going to have to get moved to the side. Now that I think about it, and that's my own fault, so I apologize. 4 across is going to be definitely your preference, but since we can't do that with this build, move it over to the left until you can get more money when you work and you can expand. Or you can just, delete the bookshelf or something, and you'll have enough money to go across one more. So yeah, I apologize for that. I realize now that I kind of messed that up. Sorry. Honestly, you could have went with a single bed. I like having the big bed because the big bed is the 10 sleep. It's the only bed. I don't believe they have any single beds that have 10 sleep. So, that's usually what I go for. I decided, I was going to go for pink. I really was trying new stuff for this one. I liked it. I really did like what I did. I tried to fit the end tables in there. It wasn't going to happen. And this is when I should have realized that it wasn't across. If you cannot fit an end table between your bed and the wall, then you do not have enough space. I'm going to tell you that right now. The sim is not going to be able to path correctly. Which sucks. But, it's The Sims. So I decided I needed some more lights back there because I wasn't going to keep those. It was still too dark for me, so I added a couple more. These are a little bit steeply priced, but again, I went more stylistically with what I preferred. And I got rid of one of my lights and put that there for budget's sake. Then I just toggled the night so I could make sure that, everything was lit up properly. Because you don't want to have your Sims get scared because they're in the dark. Because they will. They will get scared. Now, I'm going to go with the best stove you can because eating is another very important thing you need to worry about. Fridge, best I can, because there is the cold or gross food or something. They get upset if the food doesn't taste right. I'm trying to match up a little bit better. The sink, I decided to go with the off-the-wall sink. Usually that's not something I go for, but I liked the towel thing, and it definitely fit more of a bathroom aesthetic. And I wanted to go with a cuter mirror for sure. And now my budget's getting a little bit low. I'm at seven simoleons, which is literally nothing. So I'm trying to kind of figure out what I want to do here. I decide I need to make a pathway, which honestly, terrain tools, beautiful, beautiful thing. I'm going to be using those, but first I'm going to get the wood out so that I can perfectly place them without, going overlapping or anything. I always do that. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. Even if it did, you could delete it. As long as you don't start the game, they won't depreciate in value. I love this pathway. I really do. It's just, it's very nice. I don't like ones that have, grassy parts in between. It's not my preference. Next, I'm going to be working on the dirt. Because what I like to do is have dirt on the outside. And then dirt below the windows, because usually what I do when I have a bit more money, again, this isn't something you completely start off with. A budget build for sure is something you have to build upon. It's just what you know when you start a Sims game. This is not a perfect house by any means. This is just what you can do with the money you have. But anyways, what I was saying was, I'm gonna try to do this. I don't like it. Yeah, it's definitely something you have to add upon. It's not going to be perfect when you first start it, by any means. But it's the best you can do for the budget you have, and that's just, how it is. I decided to go with hydrangeas because they're $1 a piece. I'm going to try to do the dandelions, but they're literally so ugly. They literally shouldn't even be in the game. They're so ugly. They look bad. I'm not going to buy a weed. If they were little... I like dandelions. I think dandelions are beautiful, but these ones look all edgy and, and I also didn't have enough money for them anyways. So I figure out exactly where they need to be placed, and then I decide I need a little bit more dirt. Pretty sure you can't place the dirt there right away perfectly. Then I'm moving these out of the way. Usually what I also do is I make the entire lawn a darker green, but I've been kind of trying not to do that anymore because personally I know that that's environmentally not the best decision to make, is to have a perfectly nice green lawn. So I'm trying to get myself out of the mindset of, oh, perfectly green lawns are beautiful, because honestly, it's not. It's very not environmentally wise, and I love the environment. My major in college is environmental engineering, so I'm just kind of explaining my mindset as I went through here, why I didn't change it like I usually would have. So I realized I got 5 simoleons, not a crazy amount of money. Usually what I would like to do as well, if I had the money, was put more flower, usually smaller flowers. I don't like the big flowers in the front, and smaller flowers down the thing, and I usually put lights there. So I'm kind of thinking about what I want to do, and then I decide, let's get rid of the bookshelf for a cheaper one. Because I did not pick the cheapest bookshelf, I picked the cutest bookshelf, and I decided I was going to go with this one. I was going to go with the white one, and then I changed my mind, because I realized I can fit the big bookshelf right across the wall right there, and it's cheaper, so screw it, go with that. Now I have a little bit more money to play with. I want outdoor lights. These ones are stylistically my favorite. I can't afford those right now. Either that one or the flat floor ones are really nice. I realize I'm not going to have enough money to put one every one, which usually I wouldn't do anyways, because I'd usually put a light in between them. And I'm trying to find stylistically what I want here. These ones have to be on a fence post. These ones have to be a fence post. Not a fan of the torch. I just go with these ones. They're kind of basic. They're the cheapest. I mean, usually the cheapest things in The Sims is not the best in the first place, so do not expect the cheapest is the best ever. So I end up trying to possibly put flowers, but it's too expensive. I know I can't afford it. I'm not going to put dandelion. I think I'm going to try to put dandelion. No, I was thinking about bushes, and then there's rocks. And I counted it. I wasn't going to be able to afford the rocks. I wasn't even going to attempt it. Please don't try the dandelions. Oh, I'm thinking about it. Oh, I'm really thinking about it. You can't style change them, so I said nah. So that's kind of what I went with. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. This was my budget build for The Sims 3 base. I can't afford the change. I don't think I can afford it. But yeah, this is my budget build for The Sims 3 base. I'm thinking about doing a budget build for different expansions. I have almost all of them. I'm missing 2, but I mean, if you guys enjoyed the series, I'll probably pick them up. They're probably cheaper now. Who knows? It's EA. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. If you do, I'll be doing more of these. This is something that I kind of wanted to make personally on my own. So yeah. Don't forget to like, comment down below, subscribe, and follow our Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. I'm going to do a little close-up of the house so you can see a little bit the outside and see all the walls and how it looks all together. Thank you. Have a great day.